I kind of forgot to set that up. So.
Fired.
And we're live.
Welcome to Drink Spin Run, an RPG talk show. I'm Don Stroud, and this is Adam Miskevich, my
Howdy,
lovely
folks.
co-host.
I'm lovely, and feels good to hear. Hi, Don. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks for asking. And yourself?
Pretty good. Yesterday was little man's 1-year birthday. I almost said anniversary. So it is the anniversary of his birth, so that was fun. Got to hang out with family, and everything's going well with you and the frogs and the ducks and all the other animals.
Oh, the ducks are gone.
The ducks are gone. Are they delicious? Were they delicious?
No, their eggs were delicious, but they were ducks are really rapey, as we discussed before.
Oh yeah.
My wife was tired of watching it.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah, but you know what I have instead?
What do you have instead? Do you get llamas?
A big-ass beehive.
I knew about the beehive. I saw the pictures. It's pretty exciting. Well, along with us today, we have some special guests, Don. I know I always get to do this job. Do you want to introduce our guests, or do you want me to do it?
You can, because you know them. I have
limited experience.
I only have spoken. I don't think I have spoken to Taylor, but I spoke to Brendan at the booth at Origins.
You just totally gave them away, which anybody who's watching this totally knows already, and anybody who's listening to the podcast already knows. Today we have with us Brendan LaSalle of Goodman Games and lots of other folks, right? You've done a lot of freelance work, like all over the place, right?
I have indeed, yes, sir. How you doing, everybody?
Also with us today is Taylor Frank, most notably of the Dungeon Lord zine, or sorry, most recently notably of the Dungeon Lord zine. How you doing, Taylor?
How are we doing? Good.
Oh, good to be here. Excellent. Yeah, this is exciting. I'm glad to have you guys on. I've wanted both of you on for quite some time. It's like one of those things that, like, Taylor, I've never actually talked to you in person, but we have so many things in common, and we've had so many like little interactions. Like, he'll be great on the show. How could he not? And Brendan's just freaking crazy, so I knew that'd be good. It'd go well. So hey, let's go ahead and get this thing started. Taylor, what are you drinking? Taylor?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and start. I have 2 drinks I picked up today. I went over to the local fancy liquor store called Jubilation, and they have a really nice selection. So I picked up La Cumbre Slice of Heffen, which is New Mexican brewed Hefeweizen, just classic Bavarian style. It's really good. That's brewed right here in Albuquerque. And then the other beer I picked up is the Monk's Double Ale, which is a classic like monk style ale, which is also brewed here in New Mexico. That one's brewed in ABQ, which is a small town outside by actual monks in a monastery. So
that's awesome.
And that one, it was very appropriate for DCC. It has a quote on the box: "From man's sweat and God's love, beer came into the world. Saint Arnold," which is the Benedictine Abbey of Saint Bernard, patron of hop pickers and brewers. So he's actually a patron, which is pretty cool.
Very nice.
Yeah, that's awesome.
The beer patron. Saint Arnold.
Important patron to have. Hey, Brendan, what are you drinking?
I am drinking Jägermeister. Which is...
Serious? Yeah.
Honestly, I'm a Jägermeister guy.
I could totally see that. You know,
yeah, that's
like you're a big Jaeger bomb dude. You're like,
no, absolutely not. No.
You have so much energy that I figured it has to come from some source.
No. I don't even get the Jaeger bomb. I don't even. That's like you may as well get an umbrella in your drink. Or, you know what I mean? Or have it served with half a pineapple or something at that point. No,
yeah.
I've been drinking. Jaeger is the first liquor that I really had a relationship with. You know what I mean? I had my first bartending job in New Orleans in 1988, and all we had was beer. We would occasionally make up pictures of like sex on the beach, and we had a Jaeger machine. And I mentioned to the bartender I'd never had it before, and they made me stand on a stool and do a shot in front of everybody. And I had one, and I was hooked. It was like, oh, this is my drink.
Nice.
So,
I don't think I've been able to drink Jägermeister since I quit smoking. I think like when you've done all that damage to your taste buds, Jägermeister's like, that's a great drink because you can actually taste it.
Yeah.
But now coming back, getting taste buds again, like I've not been able to drink this stuff for like 4 years, man.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, there was a. Oh, sorry.
No,
My
go
story. Oh, all right. Yeah. So in 1993, I had a night of Jägermeister and chocolate cake, and I never looked back. There was
it's kind of hard to top that night, right?
There was much vomiting. It's like the only time I've actually embraced the toilet and like laid on the bathroom floor, like shaking, unless I have the flu. That's like my go-to.
That's
Yeah,
hilarious.
go on.
No, I was just saying that, I turned my wife onto it. She had her first shot with me, and that's like our go-to Saturday night drink. It's pretty much Jaeger. Every once in a while, we'll break off and have like a beer or something like that. But we're Jaeger folks. This is Jaeger country, and
For our gorgeous listeners, I want to point out that when we were getting ready to fire this thing up, Brendan asked, "You guys actually drink on this thing?" And like, yeah, this is what we do, man. Yeah, so that's when the Jaeger came out.
It's shameful, but I'm very late to this podcast, and like since I got your message, it was like, okay, yeah, I'll go ahead, I'll catch up, at least catch a couple of key episodes, and I did not do that because I'm up to my eyeballs in Gen Con prep,
Yeah.
Kickstarter stuff, and everything else. So
You're not missing much, kid.
I will check it out though. Now that
you're on it, you're gonna listen to it and be like, "Oh, that's what happens on the show."
Now that I realize it's drinking and gaming, my God, that's like my complete wheelhouse,
Well,
Right.
drinking, music, reading, and gaming, so that's what we do,
I could live here. I tell people all the time. I said, like, I don't think I'm one of the world's greatest dungeon masters or one of the world's greatest drunks. But like the Venn diagram of the two of those, like drunken dungeon masters, seriously, you are hard pressed to step to the kid. I mean, very hard pressed. You better, come real correct. That's all.
Nice, excellent. I'm really looking forward to UConn now. It's going to be a good year. We had Bill Webb last year, and so like I don't know if you know Bill, but that guy, like he's always got a drink in his hand. He's wearing like pajama pants everywhere. He's like the dude, kind of. He's like the gaming version of the dude, but a little more high-strung. And it was pretty amazing just seeing him just like drink constantly. I go GM this, go DM, come and then come back. Oh, more drinks. And it was all day. That was for several days. That's what he did. Moving on, Don Stroud. I'm gonna disappoint you when I tell you what I'm drinking.
I saw what you're drinking, so why don't you go, Adam? Are you drinking?
I drank all the good beer over the weekend because it was the little man's first birthday. So I drank all the good beer. All we have left is High Life. So I was contemplating bringing up a bottle of Zhebrovka vodka, but I was like, I'm not drinking.
It'd be sloppy.
Not a straight vodka tonight. No. Dangerous times.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, because I didn't know Brendan was bringing out the Jägermeister. So I mean, I wouldn't have been prepared. But Don, what are you drinking?
I have B. Nectar's Zombie Killer, which
Nice.
I used to like this a lot. And then I just didn't have any, and I just had a gaming birthday party over the weekend.
Oh, did you?
Whose was
it? Was it yours?
Yeah.
Really? Is your birthday?
Hey, happy birthday.
Oh, thanks. The 11th was my birthday, so yeah, it was the weekend.
Yeah, I remember wishing you a happy birthday now. Yeah.
Yeah.
How about that?
Thank you. Yeah. So yeah, I got tons of beer.
Closer to death.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, thank you. Yeah, looking forward to it.
I prefer like dodging death one more year.
Right. Yeah.
I made that saving throw again.
Beautiful.
I don't know if you guys have had or even heard of Well, of course you have.
It's a mead, right? Yeah.
It's a Sizer, cherry insider, and mead. Yeah.
That was me feigning a little bit of dumbness. I knew what it was. I just wanted Don to talk about it more.
Yeah, I know. I was trying to talk
I like
about
cider, but to me, cider is almost instant hangover for me.
Oh, not cider. Sizer.
Oh, then I have no idea what you're thinking.
It's like cider and mead, and then this has cherry juice.
Whoa.
So, yeah,
That sounds delicious.
It's almost like a high-class wine cooler, I guess. From remember those wine coolers, Bartles and James?
Bartles and James.
We're
But
getting
it's like,
girl drink drunk tonight.
maybe.
Somebody call Dave Foley.
Yeah, exactly. Kids in the hall.
I told you, may as well have something with a pineapple and a umbrella if you're gonna go that route. So.
Yeah.
I agree. Sometimes it's a fun time.
Oh yeah.
Moving right along. Brendan, you spoke last. What are you spinning?
You know what? This week I discovered a new band called the Growlers, and I've gone through like every musical, or I thought almost every musical iteration. You know, I grew up like I'm gonna be 47 this year, and I grew up, you know, late 70s, early 80s, and I came up with like, you know, the late disco, early hip hop, and I went through a metal phase, and a rock phase, and I was at this coffee bar the other day, and this band was playing. I'm like, wow, I have no idea what this is. But it's the Growlers. They're like a garage band, and I guess there's like a whole big new like returning wave of garage music. So this has been like my latest thing has just been, you know, doing it on Pandora and just like, you know, exploring all these new bands and such. So it's been exciting.
Was that still going on? Sorry,
maybe
I thought the garage
maybe
thing was like a couple years ago.
I might be super late to the party. But
This-
you know, Lord knows.
This might be like the fourth wave, maybe.
Yeah, really. Because I think there was a
I
big
mean-
wave like in the early 2000s and
10 years ago, yeah.
Yeah,
Hives,
this
the
might be a
Vines,
new,
the Strokes,
Yeah, it's all
the
new,
Hives. Yeah, I still like the Hives. That Veni Vidi Vicious
They
is
were
not their
all
first album.
pretty good. It's a good time.
Yeah, I never got into that stuff. I was into the more underground garage before that, like on Crypt and Crypt Records, and what was that, Estrus? Like you had Mummies and
Mummies. Yeah, that
I
was
remember
good.
yeah. I mean, it was like super raw garage, wrapped up.
Sorry,
in
not to steal your
minutes.
thunder, Brendan.
Oh no! You know what? There's a.
Just to analyze it in minute detail. That's all.
You know what? I'm way past the age where I just can't put the time into like searching out music like I did when I was in my
Oh, yeah.
You know, I just don't do it anymore.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you know, I come to stuff late, and it's okay. You know.
No,
That's-
it's awesome, and I've never heard of the Growlers.
That's one of the things I like about this podcast is I get to talk to so many people about their musical taste and like what are you listening to now? Like every time, like I guess he was only on once, but like Matt Weeks was on here and like everything he said, oh, I'm listening to this. Now I'm like, oh, we're gonna listen to that. So many cool guests on here telling you like so many cool like bands or genres even like to pay attention to. It's pretty sweet. I really dig it.
Yeah.
So
Hey, Adam.
I'm gonna skip order. Okay, you were asking me? Cool.
Yeah. Since you were the last one talking, and I haven't asked anyone yet, so what are you spinning?
Good job, Don.
Thank you.
Okay, so two things. One, I'm gonna something that I just discovered recently, and I really should have discovered this a little while ago. I talked on the show before about how Stan, my little man, really likes like soul music. We were trying to find soul music that new stuff for him, and put on something that he loved and I loved and my wife loved, which is recent, and it's Sharon Jones and the Dap Kings. I had never heard of them before a couple of weeks ago, and man, was it awesome! I was really happy with that. I've been spinning a lot of that. But also recently, I've gotten into something that, or not really gotten into because I was already into it, but gotten back into something, listening like heavy rotation of an album that it's one of those things like there was a band that I liked a lot, and then when they kind of broke up, they did this other band that no one ever heard of. And it's the band that no one ever heard of. It's called Dead Low Tide, named after the novel. And it's basically the Murder City Devils after the Murder City Devils broke up. So there's no keyboard, and they have a different bass player. But other than that, it's the same. I mean, even Dan Gallucci is still in it. This is when he was like playing with Modest Mouse and stuff, but he was still in.
Oh, wow.
He still did Dead Low Tide. And my Dead Low Tide story is they were together a very brief period before Cody, who was the drummer, broke his leg and then couldn't tour anymore. And when by the time that he didn't have a broken leg anymore, the band had broken up. So he went on to be the drummer for for Melvins and Big Business.
Wow.
So
This is the best story ever.
yeah. So I had
love
one
those
opportunity to see Dead Low Tide, and then the fucking Red Wings won the Stanley Cup that year, and I couldn't go downtown Detroit to see the show because it was the Red Wings won the Stanley Cup, and you're not going near Detroit. It's a riot waiting
Just
to happen.
bedlam.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
get that.
So like they closed the punk show.
Did you
I'm
ever
sorry?
see? Did you ever see when Big Business and the Melvins toured
Yes.
together with the
Yep.
two drummers? Yeah, that
Yep.
that was
That
an
was
amazing,
fantastic.
amazing show. And one's a lefty, one's a righty, so it was like mirror image, dual drumming.
Cool.
Nice.
Yeah, that was
I
really
saw the
cool.
Motor City Devils years and years ago at Bumbershoot in Seattle,
Mhm.
and I remember them putting on a particularly good show.
They are great showmen. I first saw them, I think it was like 97, maybe 98, and they opened for Modest Mouse, which again, I know that they're friends, but that's a weird show because you've got rock and then you've got drunk and playing some chords that don't work together, you know. But
Drunk.
the
I thought that was all
fantastic.
heroin.
No, they were mostly drunk, drunk and high. But the like Cody at one point, the first time I saw him, like Cody had coated his cymbals in lighter fluid, so set them on fire, and they're going off, and everything's really cool. Then when he hits, like, it's just like the crash in the ride, and at one point he hits them both, and because he knew what he was doing, it sent up a huge fireball as the rest of the lighter fluid burned off. It was like,
Nice.
holy shit, that's like lo-fi pyrotechnics. That sounds awesome. So,
Nice.
yeah, they're that's like my favorite band ever was Murder City Devils. There's just so much power.
Nice.
Taylor,
speaking
what are you
of-
listening to? Oh,
All right.
sorry.
Wait. Speaking of soul
Yeah.
music, do you remember a couple of years ago? There was this. What was it? St. Paul and the Broken Bones. Do you ever check them out?
No.
Scrawny, little, weird-looking white dude who could just belt it out. Check it out. You
Nice.
might like it.
Okay, I sure will. Yeah, sounds good.
Let's
Taylor,
go
what are you
into Taylor.
All right, right now I've been spinning a lot of experimental noise stuff, a lot of no wave, kind of Sonic Youth, but more eccentric stuff on the fringe. This one band I really love, Unwound. They're kind of inspired by Sonic Youth, Fugazi. Their last album before they broke up, Leaves Turn Inside You, is just their opus, and it really transcends what you can do in that style, and they add in like mellotron, harpsichord, all sorts of strange instruments that you wouldn't expect with different polyrhythms on the drums, time changes. It's just a fascinating record.
Yeah, sounds awesome.
So I've been listening to that a lot. Yeah, it's an older one. It's from 2001, and that's when they broke up, which is in a way tragic, but the fact that they left that last double album as like a sort of farewell is just fantastic. That's one of my all-time favorite albums. Other than that, I've been enjoying the band Alcest. They're a French kind of shoegazy metal band.
Neat.
Yeah, their last album was 2014, Shelter. It's really good, really mellow, but still vaguely metal. So you get a little bit of both.
That sounds like what was that band that you got me into? Was it Nord, the French band that you got me into in the first season, Don?
No, what was
Oh, that was the album was Nord. It was.
Oh yeah, man.
The album was Nord. I can't remember.
I can't remember either.
Brain freeze. Yeah.
But it was good.
Yeah. Well, we should find out what that is and tell Taylor.
Oh, yeah.
Off the archive.
We should put it in our show notes.
I actually probably bought an album or two from them, so I just got to look at
yeah.
Bandcamp, really.
Yeah.
So, hey, Don Stroud, what are you listening to?
Hey, I'm going back to 1994.
Whoa, way back to 1990s.
1990.
We're suddenly shitty DJs. It's good.
What are you saying?
Suddenly shitty DJs.
Interrupting wife.
This one goes way back to 1994. Sorry.
Oh.
Don, say your thing. I'm done.
Oh yeah. So I I still have CDs. They're on tons of them on a shelf, and I use them in my car. But then that same CDs will sit in there for like 6 months. So I've been rocking an oldie but goodie, 24-Hour Revenge Therapy by Jawbreaker. Little Jawbreaker. It was amazing how many words I remember. I can just belt them out. I was rocking that on the way down to Origins. It's like a 3-hour drive. So I show up.
Nice.
Yeah, I show up like hoarse because I was singing too much. To sit in a booth and work for 3 days. I was an idiot.
Yeah, that sounds pretty stupid.
You don't take single CDs on the way to a convention if you're gonna work.
I see the logic in that. Yeah.
I do now.
Fair.
Yeah.
I hit
So, hey,
a deer
Don,
on my way to.
Oh, yeah. Tell us the story. I heard a little bit about this.
I hit a deer on my way into Origins this year.
Where are you driving from? Where are
Salem,
you? Like,
Massachusetts.
as I know. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was about 20 miles outside of Schenectady, New York. It was dark. This thing just jumped right out in front of me. I tried to dodge. It dodged the same way, and had a collision. So it was terrible. Deer died, and I wound up like my car was still drivable, but the front end was all mashed up. So,
wow, yeah.
Not the most auspicious kickoff to a convention.
Yeah, that's a sacrifice to the convention gods.
Yeah, I know, right? But of all the things,
I've
hit a deer before too, and it was same story. It swerved the same way I did, and the worst part was its stomach basically exploded on the hood of my car. So there was bits of corn and little thing. Yeah,
that's rough.
The car was totaled too. It just crushed the front. It was.
Damn.
So you got out a little. At least yours was driving afterwards.
Yeah. It was. I think it's an old enough car that I think if I had called the insurance, I think it would have been totaled. So I did not do that. I just paid to get it fixed out of pocket. And I think I say, because I love my car. I didn't want to get rid of it. And it's a little bit older, but yeah, it was still drivable. I made it down there. It didn't even really affect my gas mileage or my AC. It just flashed up. So
that's funny.
Yeah, it's funny now. The time, but it kind of screwed up. Like it screwed up the entire beginning of the convention.
Yeah,
it's gonna mess up your pace a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, there was like no booth on Thursday.
Day,
yeah.
There was no what?
Booth.
The guys had to come and get me and help me out.
Yeah.
And such, so we didn't have a booth at the time. So.
There was just a sad sign that said,
it was sad.
Yeah, we're not here.
Yeah. But we made it through, and it actually wound up being a great show.
Good. Yeah, I got to admit, I don't think I heard much about Origins this year, which is usually, except for the fact that you hit a deer on your way there. Origins is a con that I've really enjoyed the times I've gone, but it's not one that I tend to prioritize, which I think is a dumb move on my part.
Yeah, maybe, because Columbus is great.
Yeah.
Is Columbus great?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
cool. So many
many
neat little restaurants around there and breweries and what's the North Market?
But it's still pretty accessible.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's move on, and I'll ask Don this time. Don, what are you reading?
Well, we haven't recorded since March.
I know, it's been like forever.
Right? So I had to make a list. It's going to be quick. I finally finished up, I don't know if I ever had this on here, I finally finished up House on the Borderland, William Hope Hodgins. I think I talked about that.
You did, yes.
The one I really liked a lot, I got Evangeline Walton's Prince of Anwen. It's some Welsh.
Sell it to me.
Do you like anything about the like Welsh mythologies?
I remember really liking the Dark is Rising books when I was a kid.
Yeah, I don't know, but sure. Yeah, you like it. Read it.
I don't know Welsh mythology.
All right. It was great. You would enjoy it. They were reprinted on the adult Ballantine printings in I think it was like the 70s. They always have great art. They printed about 50 great books. They did 4 Clark Ashton Smith collections and all kinds of good stuff. They did a bunch of Dunsany and and Hyperborea. I finally started that. Speaking of Clark Ashton Smith.
Cool.
How's that?
Yeah.
It's great. I mean, I've read a lot of them in other collections, and to read them all in one place is kind of neat.
It would be nice to have that all in one volume. Like, I'd also like an all Zothique volume, because that stuff's amazing.
Well, they printed one on the adult Ballantine imprint.
Oh, maybe I should track that down.
Yeah, you should, because it even has a map in there, and it's great.
I've seen the map. Actually, I've got I've got it all in my Kindle. So
right.
Even the Kindle version has a map.
Yeah, yeah.
So.
Yeah. So there were a couple other books I'm just gonna skip because they were horrible. There was this one I could not get through. It was written in like the 30s or 40s, and there was just it was just full of just boredom and sexism and racism. But
Was
the
it R.
cover, what?
Howard? I'm kidding. Was it
No,
R.D.
it
Howard?
was it was worse. It was called The Secret People. The cover was amazing.
You told me you weren't going to talk about it. You said you weren't going to talk
The
about it.
cover is
and now you're
amazing.
talking
It's
about
got giant mushrooms on it and small albino pygmy men. So
it. That sounds fantastic. How could that? How? I'm judging this book
I
by
know,
its color.
I know,
Cover. That sounds
I
so
know.
good.
I wanna.
Was it
I wanna
nowhere near Eyes of the Overworld?
better, better. I will. I
It
will
was
take
better
a-
than Eyes of
I
the
will
Overworld,
scan
or the
this and
cover was
put it-
better than Eyes of
and
the
put it in. Oh, you know what? We don't have to scan it. It's on the internet. You'll put it in the show notes.
Yeah.
You will love the
Oh yeah.
cover.
Yeah.
Just don't read it.
Hey Taylor, what have you been reading?
So wait, you're telling us you shouldn't judge it by the cover?
Well,
Yeah,
if you
apparently,
judge it by the
yeah.
cover,
It's not worth.
You'll like it more than it is.
Well,
Right.
you'll expect more than Don was getting out of it. I think.
Yeah.
is the-
Yeah, yeah.
So Taylor, what have you been reading? Taylor?
Oh, sorry, my headphones cut out for a second. Right now, I've been winding down. Yeah, can you hear me? All right, yeah, I've been winding down the Morgaine trilogy by C.J. Cherryh, which is an '80s fantasy series. The first book was really engaging. The other three seem kind of to lose their focus along the way, almost just to make it a trilogy, which was a little disappointing because I love the first book. I love the dynamic of this anti-hero where you're the protagonist is kind of her indentured servant or slave, and he is forced to help her kind of do things that are morally questionable, and she's kind of an evil hero. So it's a really interesting moral dynamic between the main characters. I just wish the trilogy ended with a little more of the first book's cohesiveness. Other than that, I just picked up The King in Yellow, an old
nice.
paperback copy of that,
Yeah.
which I've never read. So I'm really enjoying that.
Your treat,
definitely.
man. It's
I'm only like 30 pages
it's
in.
not
so.
gonna be what you're. It's not gonna be what you're expecting, and it's real. That makes it great. It's not what you think it's gonna be.
All right, perfect. Yeah, already it's captured me, so I'm excited to finish that. And to prepare for a Call of Cthulhu game last week, I read the short story The Unnameable by Lovecraft, which it was one I hadn't read, and that one really got me in the mood to run the game. So that was a fantastic story as well.
Killer.
Awesome. Good stuff. Hey, Brendan, what about you? What have you been reading?
Well, I just finished a book called I'm Just a Person by Tig Notaro. She's a stand-up comedian that I like very much. And I thought it would be more of a comic narrative, but it really isn't. It was really more like just a biography of a really bad couple of years she had, where her mother died, she got diagnosed with cancer, she got dumped, and it was like just like this. I don't know. It was a very serious, read about just sort of like a crisis year and what came out of this crisis year for this, comedian I like. Very much unfunny. Not what I was hoping for. But
You're not the first person I've heard enjoy that book, though. I've heard a couple
I'll
people
tell
mention
you
it.
It's the kind of book that I usually don't care for. I usually don't. I don't know. I should say I don't usually seek out books like that. But she's such a compelling storyteller, and the story really was so interesting, and she's so lay it all bare honest. And it's something really interesting about hearing a stand-up comedian be not funny. You know what I mean? Just have them just tell it like it is. It's it's interesting. So I finished that, and I was there was 5 different times while I was reading, I was like, I'm just gonna put this down, but I didn't. I did it almost in one go, and it really it got a hold of me. It was excellent actually. And then I just picked up.
That's cool, man.
Yeah, I was really liking it. And then I just picked up Hocus Pocus by Kurt Vonnegut. I am a huge Kurt Vonnegut fan. I've kind of been like slowly working my way through all of his books, since I was in my 20s, and this is the one I hadn't read before, and I found it at a yard sale. So I said yes.
Cool.
Yes. And it's excellent.
Score.
It's just excellent. Really, really fun.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Don, you're muted.
Right.
Don, you're
You're
muted.
muted.
I got it. I rarely mute myself, but I had to.
You must have to burp or something.
Yeah, I did. I've only read Galapagos, and that's like one of my favorite books.
Yeah.
By Vonnegut.
My favorite novel of all time is Bluebeard by Vonnegut, which I recommend to everyone. And
Nice.
Hocus Pocus has that same kind of pacing. It's written from the point of view of this man in his 70s who's in jail, who's just writing little vignettes on whatever scraps of paper he can find. So it's just it's like tiny paragraphs, 1 page long chapter, like all the way through. Very staccato, really interesting, and with all the kind of like bleak insights you expect from Vonnegut. It's great.
Nice. Adam, what are you reading?
So I just I'm not going to talk about one thing that I have been religiously adhering or reading because I talked about it last 2 episodes, and I made it sound like, oh, I've been reading it so heavy, but then I wasn't. Now I am, but I'm not going to talk about it until I get further in it. Right. So what I have been reading is I'm sorry, I'm looking this up on Amazon right now, so I know who wrote it because I can't remember. But it's this novel called Galore, and it is by Michael Crummey. Crummey. And it's a really neat story told. I'm a kind of a sucker for dialect and vernacular, and this whole story is told basically in Newfie, the Newfoundland vernacular from Canada. It's about people who live in a shitty part of Newfoundland where they survive by fishing and barely. And a whale washes up on the shore, and hey, there was Stan. I don't know if you guys can hear that, but he's screaming down there. So a whale washes up on the shore, and they're like, "Hey, sweet, it's food. We should eat this." And they cut it open, and there's a dude inside, and there's like an albino guy inside the whale, and it's kind of about how everybody's fortunes kind of change after they find this guy, not necessarily for the better, but not always for the worse, So that was a really cool novel, and I really enjoyed it, and it did a really good job of using that particular sort of vernacular, that language to evoke what you were supposed to be feeling in this tiny little town, which is, I think, such a cool tool that we DMs could use a bit more than we probably do, controlling our language to evoke a feeling. So the other novel just started reading, Cousin-in-Law, and this book is actually up for a bunch of awards. My cousin-in-law is Virginia Reeves, so Work Like Any Other is the novel that she wrote. That's on the short list stuff, and it's cool because it was her first novel thing. So I'm not very far in that though. I just kind of wanted to mention I got a cousin who actually does stuff. So
That's awesome.
That's been good.
Wait, it's not called Your Cousin-in-Law. It's by your cousin-in-law.
My cousin-in-law wrote the book. Yes.
All right. The
book is Work Like Any.
All
Did
right.
I freeze up?
Yeah. You froze up a little bit.
My connection's been weird tonight. I think the
My
book
other
is called
question-
Work Like Any Other.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Because I was like, it's called My Cousin-in-Law Work Like Any Other. Is there a colon in there?
Nope.
My other question is, was the albino driving the whale, or was it eaten by it?
I don't think that.
Oh, the
Find
whale
out.
got the white hunter. Interesting.
Oh, yeah. Look at that.
The whale.
Are you frozen,
Yeah,
or do you have
some-
disdain?
Little Moby Dick inversal. Inversal. I said inversal.
Inversal.
I was a parent.
Moby Dick inversal.
Yeah. It's my favorite.
Is that-
There's our
is that like
tagline
the
for the episode. Little Moby Dick inversal.
Inversal.
So Dan Domi wants to mention that favorite Vonnegut novel, and he also wants us to know that while we've been talking, the Mutant Crawl Classics Kickstarter has passed the $175,000 mark. So good job, Goodman Games, folks.
Hell
Yeah. I'm actually one of the reasons I'm excited for UConn this year is I'm not doing a DCC game this year. I'm going to do a Mutant Crawl Classics game, and I decided that I want to do a session that's better than not.
Better
Because
what?
I mean, how many better in blacklight?
Oh.
Because like to kind of do the whole like rock and roll thing with the game. Everybody got quiet. This is such a better idea in my head.
Well, once you explained it, it sounds great. But
Yeah. You like cut out again at critical stages.
Cut out for a
Like
second. It was like,
better than not. We're like,
Sorry. Yeah, better than not good. Yes. That's unfortunate. This sucks, man. Don, you're gonna hear like my end recorded, and you're gonna be like, "Oh, that's all the shit Adam said." It's good.
And I'll say right now, I'm gonna clean that up and edit it, but I won't. Hey,
All right.
hey, all right.
Hey.
Run. We're on Run.
Yep.
Yeah.
Don, what are you running?
Hey, I'm running DCC. I actually did run it on Saturday. That's twice this month.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. My
Outstanding.
dudes are, my dudes are up. They're almost on level 2. I don't know. It seems to
Are you
take
doing-
forever.
It is a homebrew game, or
Yep. Just a weird homebrew game. I always intend to throw something official in there, and I don't. It's so much easier to not run a module, right? Am I the only one that thinks that?
depends how
easier to
familiar you
not-
are with the system, really.
It depends. It really
Yeah.
does. But it does take a long time to level up in DCC. I really appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah,
like I would always think it would be so quick compared to AD&D, but it's not
No.
too far off. No.
Here's how long it's taken Don's PCs to level 2. The last time we recorded an episode, I just did the notes for the last one we recorded, and that was in March, and he said then they're almost level 2.
Well, the last 2 sessions were about 2 hours of heavy drinking and 1.5 hours of playing and a half hour of pizza. So much so that some of the guys who weren't drinking as heavily were rolling their eyes.
Isn't that every session?
It seems to be now, yeah. There was, there was
the
this
best
crazy.
ones, right?
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, I was drinking since 2 o'clock on Saturday because it was like my, birthday bash, and we started running at we started playing at we were supposed to start at 6:30, started at 8:30. Yeah, so that's part of the problem. And maybe they weren't as close to second level as I thought, Adam.
Apparently not.
I'm not paying attention to where they are. They tell
You should.
me.
It's not your job.
No.
It's not your job to know
no.
what level the PCs are. Fuck 'em.
Hell no.
They deal with what you got, or
Yeah. You take your 5 points per session and love it. That's what I'm giving out.
That could, in some sessions, that's really generous.
Yeah.
Hey, Brendan, what are you running?
I have been running. Really, I've just been running a lot of convention games. I have, I moved recently. I moved here. Recently. I moved here 3 years ago. I have a local. It feels like I just did though, and I still feel like a stranger in this town, definitely. But I found a group, but they're pretty tight knit, and they kind of have a dungeon mastering structure they go between that I didn't start off on. So I very rarely actually run games for them. So, but I've done a lot of conventions this year. So I've mostly been running. Mostly I've been running DCC. I've got I guess 3. My main one for this year has been called Symptom of the Universe. It's a 4th level DCC adventure with some experimental bits to it. I've also been running an improv game called Behind the Wall of Sleep that I just change every time, and I just sort of let it flow out and do that differently. And then I've been running one called Neon Nights that's actually up for publication probably next year.
You've been running that one. You've been playtesting that one for a while, haven't you?
Yeah, almost a year and a half now. It'll be yeah, I guess like this,
I mean, there's nothing wrong with playtesting the hell out of something. I mean, you got to know what you want to change, what you want to, and then you get it to that sweet spot where like, okay, this is done, right?
Yeah. Well, I think that adventures are like novels. You just eventually abandon them, But it's just my if I'm going to do a convention, when I first started just running X-Crawl, and I've been running X-Crawl as well. But when I first started doing X-Crawl, I would run the same thing like 5 times, and I'm trying to not do that. I'm trying to, especially at these smaller conventions, I'm trying to set it up so people can come and play with me 2 or 3 times if they want and try different aspects of Dungeon Crawl Classics. So that's I really like Neon Knights. It's really fun to run at a table with new people. So I don't know. It's just kind of part of my repertoire. I guess my new one this year is Symptom of the Universe, and this winter I'll probably work on some new ones. But then this year's X-Crawl adventure is called Destroy All Crawlers with DJ Hattrick, and I've been running that one. I guess I ran that one for the first time at MepaCon Spring this year, and I'll be doing it for at least for the last couple of times in Pathfinder here no, I'll be running it at Game Hall as well. So it's a lot of fun.
Awesome. That's what matters, right? If you're having fun running it, then someone will have fun playing it. I'm sure.
I'll tell you, I think people are having fun with it. I think that it's over the top enough and it's dangerous enough where it is it's a good time. To me, it's an 11th level adventure that I'm running with Pathfinder, and at that point, I don't know. I'm about to get into a whole run here on Pathfinder and Pathfinder rules and Pathfinder players, but it takes so long to get an encounter done. Especially when I have to slug it out over how the rules specifically work in every given instance with somebody, that it's a process.
Challenge.
I think I overwrote that adventure. I really wanted to be able to get 4 encounters in 4 hours, and I've been doing about 2.5. So.
Man.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're okay. So I'm just gonna tell you right now, you're in the right company to express the kind of, distastes that you just did.
I have a theory. I'll share with you.
Let's hear it.
All right. Now here's the thing. I love Pathfinder. Okay, I came up with Pathfinder, and I've been in it almost since the beginning. But I think that a lot of the Pathfinder players have moved on to 5th edition, and the ones who have remained, like I find myself the more Pathfinder games I run now, the more I run into people who just want to fight over the rules and just want to tweak their character to, for whatever and such. So it tends to slow the game down a bit. So.
Bummer, man.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
But
all
like
right.
I said,
So, hey Taylor, what do you? Oh. That's good. I'm glad you like it. I'm glad that it has its audience. It would suck if like the audience was only those guys. The fighting about rules guys. I'm glad that it's guys like you too, Brendan, who can have fun with games.
I want to run X-Crawl so bad, but I'm intimidated by Pathfinder and Pathfinder players.
Well, I'll tell you what. Can I make an announcement?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, it's not my show.
Sure. No, seriously.
I'm just excited because I think I know what it is.
I hope I know what it is.
Yeah. Long story short, after a couple of discussions with the Goodman folks, X-Crawl is going full DCC, and I'm working on it now, and hopefully I will have it out this time next year, in time for Gen Con.
So is it in addition or instead of the X-Crawl Apocalypse, or is that what you're talking about?
This will be in addition to the. You know what?
Wow.
I was just doing the X-Crawl Apocalypse. Well, I couldn't make it. I couldn't make it all work in my head. Until I just decided I'll just try it. I'll just run DCC X-Crawl. This is on me. This is some designer crap I'm going to get into here, but.
All right.
Long story short, I think I was afraid of what X-Crawl would be like outside of Pathfinder, and then one day I just decided, you know what, I'm just going to try it. I'll just run it. And actually, every session was a riot, and it went very quickly. The combats were fun. Everybody had fun with it. And the more I do it, the more I'm just convinced it's a really good rules match for it.
Yeah.
As far as just how playable the game is.
The fast and loose, and yeah.
Mm-hmm. And the over-the-top bits, and so that's you know, I think at least for the time being, I think this is going to be my last. Destroy All Crawlers is probably going to be the last Pathfinder adventure that I specifically take around to conventions or put out for publication. If indeed it does go up for publication.
Well, you just made my wife a very happy woman. She loves the idea of X-Crawl, but she's scared to death of Pathfinder. So
Nice.
she's going to be really excited to hear that. And so awesome, man.
So let me ask a quick question, because I don't really know what we're talking about, but I kind of do. So I actually understand like the setting. I think it's like modernish, futurist. You fight cameras. It's like a game show-ish thing, or like I understand kind of that. No.
No, that's yeah. You got it. Yeah.
So do you just use like Pathfinder like characters and stuff like?
No,
no.
I mean, I did originally, but now X-Crawl has 6 new full 20-level Pathfinder classes that are built into it, and that book came out in, I guess, 2014. So yeah, it's got its own, you know, it's got its own character classes, and it has a separate. I guess you guys haven't really played much Pathfinder. Is that what I'm scanning?
Well, I mean, I played third 3.5.
Yeah, I played 3.5.
It's got a couple of different rule systems, including a new set. It's got fame feats, which are like it's a separate system that you go up in it like your regular feats, but it's just feats about your fame and
popularity.
Prestige. Yeah. So your popularity, your life as a celebrity. So as a feat, you might take excellent agent or demanding coach. All those things give you bonuses. You can get a groupie as a feat, or a fan club, or that kind of thing. And some of them have combat, slight effects on combat. Mostly, it's just about you're earning more fame, more money, and more prestige. So there's a couple other rules tweaks different with X-Crawl. There's a system called Mojo Rules, which is it's like a bonus system that teams share in, a way to kind of like bolster up your teammates when you see that they're in trouble. And there's fame. Fame is its whole own score and its own stat in that game. So the more you do, the more you work the crowd, the more fame you get, which means the more money you can earn.
All right.
I'm getting pro wrestling flashbacks right now.
I actually,
that's legit.
I actually just get like a Running Man meets like Escape from New York or something. Like that's
plus American Gladiators minus.
Oh yeah, minus spandex.
TV.
Yeah, minus spandex. That's good.
Oh no, we got plenty of spandex. You're cool.
Oh okay.
Throw in Smash TV. Professional like celebrity culture in general. It's a real big center of celebrity culture and modern American athletics as well. With a dash of Space Hunter Adventures in the Negative Zone.
Oh my!
Get a chance.
Fancy.
Well,
excellent.
You know what? That was an influence because at one point Molly Ringwald gets forced to go through this death maze, and like people are like screaming and cheering, and there's like jets of flame going off fire and pits, and I don't know. I saw that in the theater in 3D when I was very impressionable, and it just it's the star that I've sailed my ship by ever since.
That's some good navigation, man. That's nice.
And here I am with y'all. So obviously,
yeah. If you can call that working, yeah. I'm sorry, Brendan. You should be further along.
No, you know what? Honestly, I'm exactly where I should be in the universe right now. Precisely.
That's good. I'm glad to hear it, because that's where I am too. So I'm feeling better about it now. Hey, Taylor Frank, what are you running?
Yes. I just took a break from running a long-term DCC campaign with the crew from the restaurant I work at, which is a lot of fun. None of them had really role-played before, and they just took it and hit the ground running. So we had a blast with that. Got kind of ridiculous because so many players were coming and going, so it kind of got confused and muddy and murky. So we decided to take a break, and the chef from my restaurant actually ran a Mutant Crawl Classics game, the free RPG Day module.
Nice.
First game he had ever run anytime. It was his first role-playing experience as a judge, and it was really fun. He just like he is as a chef, he just didn't kind of put up with any bullshit. It was straightforward. This is what happens to your character. It was really different than how I DM. So after that game, we moved on, and we were taking a turn at Call of Cthulhu, which is something I haven't really run. I ran it once many years ago and did a terrible job. Put it back on the shelf, and the Age of Cthulhu series by Goodman Games got me kind of reinterested in it. So I ran John Hook's adventure, Starfall. Yeah, I got that. I always get those two mixed up. Starfall over the Plateau of Lang, which was the last Kickstarter, which I was really happy I kickstarted because it was the perfect transition from a group that was really used to the Dungeon Crawl Classic style going over to Call of Cthulhu. We had a little bit of, kind of a crawling vibe to it, but they got to do a lot of investigation, a lot of slow burn kind of horror, and they really enjoyed that new style.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been a blast. I'm really lucky. He gave me some tips too, so I'm really stoked to go back and finish off that adventure and move on. And we're probably going to keep doing the Age of Cthulhu thing for a while, get a campaign going. So
cool.
I just got
really excited. Yeah, I'm blessed to have a good crew. So.
I just got to read a PDF draft of John Hook's new adventure, the Lost Expedition.
Yes, I got to playtest that one. So.
Oh yeah, isn't it?
Yeah. The Kickstarter just ended.
Yeah, it reads fantastic.
So stoked on that.
Yeah.
You got to get him on the show. We had a couple of people asking for like a show specifically about like investigative campaigns or games.
Yeah, he's the guy.
And I was like, John's the right guy to get on there, so I want to bring him on for that. I had someone else in mind, but my brain.
I would recommend. I'll pronounce his name wrong. Nicola Maioli, who does a one-page Lovecraftian zine.
Yeah.
So he would be a great guy too. Yeah, he was. He sent me a great email saying he was inspired by Dungeon Lord to make that zine. So that was awesome. That meant a lot.
Nice.
Now I'm,
really cool,
I'm a big fan of his.
Because he liked me so much, I'm a fan. I'm kidding. I'm joking.
Well, I didn't know what he was doing, but
I think before I knew he did any zines, I think I'd seen a bunch of his art or something like that, and I was like, wow, this is really cool. And then when I discovered he had the zine out, that got me really excited as well. So neat.
Nice.
Cool. Look, I'm glad you're running.
I'm sorry.
I mean,
Hello.
I'm done. I'm done.
You're done cutting out. What are you running though?
Oh
my God.
Yeah,
You're
I don't
gonna
know.
wait until your baby stops screaming like a maniac.
He's crazy. I don't know what's going on. Actually, I know exactly what's going on. He's teething.
Oh.
And today he did not get a whole cake in his face, so that's the sound of a sugar withdrawal baby there.
Spoil them one day and
it's wrecked forever.
The rest of your life.
Wow, seriously, man. Okay, so second half I'm fixing this. I'm gonna close this door or something, which means I gotta move a bunch of shit. There's a cat in the background because she's
I thought it was a raccoon.
Yeah, the raccoon I keep in this room.
Holy crap.
Yeah. She's hiding from the baby too. So, hey, what am I running? I'm still running the Iron Coast. Next time we talk, I'm gonna have something more to say about Iron Coast. So that's a little bit of a teaser because I know we've got Iron Coast players watching. They'll get some information next time. It's been really cool. They might have just totally screwed up their whole campaign, or they might have made things better. And they'll find out next week.
Awesome.
But I've mentioned that we've been doing more and more domain management stuff. We actually got to use Autark's. This is an Adventure Conqueror King game for those who haven't been following, and we just started using their Domains at War system. We actually had a mass battle a couple of sessions ago, which wasn't that mass. It was like relatively small forces, but the rules in that game scale up or down really well. So we did like really small scale, battle, and now they're dealing with all of this political fallout from that, and it's been a lot of fun to see from my point of view where everything's going, and then the crazy ideas that they come up with. Yeah, it's been really neat.
Cool.
And that's all I'm running right now, other than I guess I'm still actually running Torchbearer on Wednesday night. I think that was still going on last time we recorded. I think it just started. But we're almost done with Torchbearer, and then we're going to move on to someone else DMing something for a while. I think Craig Brasco's going to do. He's got like a BX Western thing going on. It's more like not like Wild West, but more like Western expansion, like more Oregon Trail and less High Noon. So that should be fun. Looking forward to playing that. Yeah. And I'm writing a whole bunch of crazy stuff right now, also for like DCC and MCC and stuff. So I'm doing the session that I mentioned earlier, the one that you guys didn't understand what I was saying, that's designed to be played under blacklight.
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 Better under blacklight than not.
Yes. So like typically you do stuff under blacklight and it's just like, okay, maybe we're stoned. That might be the coolest thing about it, because like under blacklight, like a lot of stuff is harder to do. Like I'm just gonna throw that out there. Like it doesn't actually make anything cooler. My goal is to make a game session where it's actually cooler under blacklight. So right now the working title for that is Laser Dungeon, and that's what I'm running at UConn this year. So. That's not going to be the final title. That's like the title that gets people to show up to play test shit. So
I hate to ask a dumb question, but is it going to be under blacklight?
Oh, yeah. Actually, I'm petitioning the
special room.
I'm going to get a special room just so I can have black lights up and stuff. So I've been experimenting with. I got it around here somewhere. I got like glow in the dark paint around here somewhere, and like I've been
Nice.
like blacklight reactive materials, just trying to sort out what will work and have cool effects and stuff. So I feel like I'm like an 8th grade science teacher or something.
Oh man, you know what I used to do? Whenever I went to the Nectarine, they have black lights, I'd put wool light on my face and I would break out a week after. But it totally shows up. It totally shines under black.
It does. Yep.
Yeah. Don't put it on your face.
Don't put it on your face. Not unless. I did find these really cool like they're actually designed for face painting, but like they're crayons, and it's weird because if you look for them on Amazon, they're like $1 bajillion, like literally like $50 a crayon. You get them on eBay for $8. So if you're ever looking to go to a rave or something like that, look on eBay. Is what I'm trying to say. But so I'm thinking about getting some of those to do. I want to do as many gimmicky, stupid shits as I can, just to have fun with it.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm going.
Sounds great.
Sweet. Sounds cool.
I just want to have a fun game that's just going to be fun, that's like designed to just like be stupid and fun,
Yeah.
I got inspired by those
game
Dead
design-
Game Societies guys, like Nightmare on Sesame Street shit.
Guys are awesome.
Those guys are awesome.
I
very
wanna play
glad.
one of those games someday. That's a goal.
I want to do that game. It's not a Dead Game Society guy, but like that dude at GaryCon who does the Manos Hands of Fate game.
That guy's
What?
awesome.
I didn't know that existed.
Yeah. He was one table over from me this year for one of my sessions at GaryCon. He was like, it looked like they were having the best time on earth.
Yeah. And then didn't Chad Parrish do the Rocky Horror game? Was he the GM of that? Friend of the show, Chad Parrish. I think he GM'd the Rocky Horror Picture Show session.
There's
And then
another
Stan
guy
said something weird about it.
who does those Savage World games with like really cool character sheets, and he did that 80s League of Extraordinary Gentlemen and stuff. I don't know if you guys
I did not
really
see
need.
that,
He did.
no.
I think he did 8-track tapes as character sheets,
Oh wow.
and you got
Oh,
an
I did
actual
see
tape
those.
with a printed
Yeah.
label. And yeah, that was. I can't remember the guy's name, but that stuff is pretty awesome too.
Awesome. Well, guys, we've gotten the end of this session, so we're going to take a little break. Thank you, you gorgeous listeners, for being with us. Brendan LaSalle and Taylor Frank, thank you so much for being here. Don, my
Gratitude.
lovely co-host.
Yeah.
Don, my lovely co-host, thank you so much for being with me as always. And we'll be back in a little bit for the second half of our conversation with Taylor Frank and Brendan LaSalle. Don, I'm going to let you take it away.
Yeah, let me take this away because I want to say this should come out like the week before Gen Con or the week of Gen Con. I know you're not going to be there, Adam. Are you guys going to be there?
Yes,
Taylor
sir.
And all right.
Both of you guys?
No,
Awesome.
I will not.
Oh, okay.
All right.
It's a long way from
before,
Albuquerque.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit of a trek.
Yeah.
Yes, I was there last year. With, Doug at his booth.
I saw you. I think I saw you there. I did not come up and say, "Hey,
we
I'm
might
Don."
have met, yeah.
But you,
Oh, okay, but yeah, I was there. I was there the whole time because Doug wasn't.
Oh yeah. All right, sweet. And then good night, everybody, or goodbye, or whatever. And we're out. So for you guys who are still here, just hit stop on your Audacity. This doesn't apply to you, Brendan, because you're doing your own thing. So stop recording, and I usually like to save it now because if you start recording again, it sometimes uses the same file, or it plays back while you're recording, and it's horrible.
It puts like a second track on top of the original, and it gets dumb.
So just export it as whatever you want. Usually it's good to say, part 1, your name, and the episode, which is Funhouse Dungeon. I like it.
I always do the date. I always put the date in.
I hate it.
What is the date?
Oh, I'm sorry. It's the 18th of July. All right, and I've got a couple minutes while this thing exports. I'm gonna go grab some more beers and see if I can help with this baby situation. I'll be right back, guys.
All right.
I'll be back too.
Cool.
Yeah, I'll be back too.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I'll take a break.
All right.
Good.
Did you turn a fan on, Adam?
Did I? No. Do you hear a fan?
I know you came back and it was super loud, but now it's not. So never mind.
Yeah, I don't know what to tell you. Hey, I recently invested in a bunch of cool gear that I hope improves my signal quality. And by invested, I don't mean like I spent much. I got a bunch of cheap shit off Amazon, but I've got like a pop filter now.
Oh yeah.
And I have like an arm, like a mic boom, but I didn't get it right with the proper fitting for my Yeti.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to like pay as much as I paid for the boom to get a fitting for the Yeti. Yeah. So it's the price you pay for having a really nice mic.
Yeah.
But I've noticed that like I slack really bad when it comes to like the important podcast shit or the stuff that's supposed to be important, you know? Like I have no mic discipline. I'm terrible about all this stuff that, you know, all these podcaster guys are like, this is what you got to do to be good. Like,
Right.
I'm bad. I'm a terrible partner, Don. You know this, I'm sure, but
No,
like
no.
I'm just so bad at all this podcasting stuff. Like the only thing I can do is get fun people on the show.
Right.
Like,
I mean, that's all you have to do, Adam.
Oh, okay. All right.
That's like your one job is to get awesome people.
That is my job, and I do take it somewhat seriously.
Yeah.
You know, I asked everybody on Patreon, like, hey, who do you Patreon? I always say Patreon. It's me. It's the polar side of me. I want to accent the penultimate syllable. Patreon? That doesn't sound right. Accenting the first syllable of any word is just creepy. Unless the first syllable is the penult. Just saying. That's my linguist bullshit. I'm not a linguist. I'm pulling your legs. And, man, Miller High Life has more in it than it used to.
Gentlemen, once again, to your health.
Sláinte. Yes.
Cheers.
I was saying a thing. I don't know. It wasn't important.
You're horrible.
I'm a bad partner for this podcast. Yeah.
How do you feel like
I'm
it's
not
going
good.
tonight?
I think we're having fun. Yeah. I wish. Okay. So here's the thing. My normal podcasting rig is still down. So like I'm using a work computer for this.
Uh-huh.
And that's why I've had more bouts of like weird like internet stutteriness than normal. And I keep getting out of sync with you guys, and so that's a bummer from my point of view. But I think overall we're doing pretty good.
Cool.
I haven't been bored. I haven't been bored yet, and
No.
let me tell you, I've been bored on this show before.
No.
I feel bad. I'm a little sleepy. I'm a little less sparkly than I usually am.
You're sparkling just fine. Don't worry. You're plenty sparkling.
I've been up since like crazy in the morning, and I realized, honestly, I'm sorry, I hadn't checked your show out before. If I realized it was actual drinking, I swear I would have caught a nap. Like a 2-hour disco nap. You know what I mean? And I would have been ready to rock and roll.
You're doing fine, man. Don't even worry about it. Hey, we can see Taylor.
Yeah, well, I'm trying to. I was having a lot of headphone trouble, so trying to rig something up here.
All right, I'm going to say something again because I was hearing some feedback on your end.
Yeah.
But I'm not hearing it now. That's good.
I just hear a baby.
Yeah, he is fucking crazy.
You guys
man.
hear me okay?
Yeah, you actually sound really good.
All right. Excellent.
Yeah, stuff.
Shut up. No, he's... Man, he's crazy. He's fucking nuts. He's, it was really fun to see Doug chasing him around in the yard yesterday. I'm getting feedback from someone again.
Yeah, my headphone came out, and then the computer. That's crazy over here.
So Doug was like the one non-family member who showed up to Stan's birthday. And when the one non-family member who shows is Doug Kovacs, it's like, this is good. This is good. Doug Kovacs at a 1-year-old's birthday. It was a lot. It wasn't what you'd think. He had a good time. My mom gave Doug a hug. It was like so strange. So strange.
Love it. All right, what did I
we ready to do this?
Did I tell you to close at Assay then open it back up to make sure that thing didn't happen?
Yeah, it's doing that now.
Yeah.
Already
It
exported.
happens. It happens. No, I gotta close mine again. I did something bad.
I didn't screw up anything this time so far.
No, every once in a while, there's that playback speed. That wouldn't be it. Never mind. Are people's computers, do they run at slightly different speeds than other people? I don't know.
I don't know. I imagine it's more your internet connections that go at what speeds. That's
Yeah, I
probably slowing us down.
just sometimes get a file that like slows down or speeds up compared to the other files. It's really bizarre. I'll ask a tech guy. All right, are we ready to record again?
Yes.
Yes.
Part 2. All right.
Ready to rock.
All right, I'm gonna count you down. Record on 1, 3, 2, 1.
All right, and it's my turn to start, so I'm going to start.
Start.
Hi! Howdy, folks, and welcome back to Drink, Spin, Run.
Great
This
start.
is the second part of our conversation with Taylor Frank and Brendan LaSalle, and tonight, we are going to talk about the Funhouse Dungeon. It is a staple of the RPG community, going all the way back. I mean, Tangle Manor is the first one that I can think of that really jumps out. But you've got Castle of Greyhawk, you've got Blackmore, all that stuff. Fantastic.
White Plume Dungeon.
Funhouse Dungeon.
Or White Plume Mountain.
White Plume Mountain. Yep.
That's my favorite. Yeah.
Is it? All right. So Taylor. Taylor of Dungeon Lord fame, I'm going to have you jump in and talk to us for a minute about White Plume Mountain and why it's your favorite.
I like it because it's just so ridiculous. There's no basis in reality for it.
Yeah.
Which is just really fun. There's no there's no ecology to the dungeon. There's no need for logic at all. It's just a series of crazy traps and weird monsters. And the other reason I love it is it has 3 really fun magic items, and the entire plot is revolving around those items. And one of them is clearly Stormbringer from the Elric saga. So I can't say no to that.
I don't know how that could clearly be Stormbringer. It's obviously an IP independent item. Black Razor is not. And that illustration on the back cover, that is not Elric at all. Yeah. I'm gonna admit something really bad for a second. When you said White Plume Mountain, I wasn't thinking White Plume Mountain. I was thinking the other one, the Expedition of the Barrier Peaks for a second. I was like,
Oh yeah.
I just want you to talk about
Very
this for a
different
second because I'm not getting it.
Funhouse.
I'll admit to sometimes, like, when my brain isn't clicking on all cylinders, I'll just be like, hey, tell me why this thing I'm not remembering correctly. Explain to me why this is appropriate. So yeah, no, fun. Now I'm with you. I'm sorry, my long day. But yeah, that's very much a case. Of course, with me, as always, is my lovely co-host, Mr. Don Stroud. Don, talk to me for a minute about these Funhouse dungeons. What's your favorite?
Yeah, I don't know if I just heard about this about an hour ago.
Yeah, like an hour ago. Yeah. Hey, if you what would you say is your definition of a Funhouse dungeon, Don?
See, that's that's the thing. At first, I was like, "Oh, I hate clowns." I'm like, "Oh, wait a minute, this is like this is like a staple." I mean, there were the crazy rooms that do shit. I mean, that's all Funhouse stuff. I mean, dungeons are Funhouse, right? Goblins just don't hang out in a dungeon. It's a Funhouse.
Yeah, what are they doing there?
Yeah.
It just removes that question. It takes it out of the equation. We don't need to explain why. It's just fun.
Right.
Well, I think
That's dungeon, really.
Yeah, I think for me that's one of the fun things about a Funhouse dungeon is trying to make it make sense for myself. Like, it doesn't have to make sense for the players. That's okay. But for me, I want a small amount of internal consistency. This is why Brendan's whole X-crawl thing, like, I think is a great idea because it lets you do every dungeon as a Funhouse because it freaking is. Brendan, talk to us about that for a sec.
You know what? That's one of the things that sprung up that made X-Crawl spring up was my desire to have dungeons like that. I was obsessed with thinking about the ecology of these dungeons. And when I would design my own dungeons as a kid, I would have to include like a way that a dragon got in and out of the dungeon. You know what I mean? Or where the food came from, the water and the oxygen, where the smoke went. I used to obsess over that, like smoke holes. You know? No, seriously, you would all die in a dungeon without ventilation. Period.
Yeah.
End of story. I don't care what race you are. You got to breathe unless you're a slime or a golem or undead, I guess. So I guess those three things. But and, you know, and to me, X-Crawl lets you do those same challenges from back then, but it actually does make sense. It's a professional designer brought them there. They took a wall out, they put the dragon in or whatever it is, put the wall back, and now it's a dungeon. I think that wanting to run that kind of dungeon, but also having to satisfy my internal need to have it make sense in my head is one of the many things that caused X-Crawl to spring up. And it's over the years designing like that, it's really evolved. Like where every time I'm challenging myself, like what's the nuttiest thing I can come up with,
and make it make sense.
Yeah. Or doesn't that make sense? It's
within the internal logic of the milieu.
Yeah, but what can I go with that internal logic? How big can I make that? I try to think like an actual TV producer and be like, okay, last year we had steampunk ninja rodeo clowns and flying sharks. How do I top that this year? And try to look at it that thing from an audience point of view. Like we got to get people to tune in now. And what's that going to take? So I won't tell you about this year's challenges because some of y'all are going to be at Gen Con and who knows what might happen. But I think I've topped. Oh yeah, I think I've topped last year's though this year. So I will say that.
Awesome, very cool. So Don, how are you feeling now? Are you feeling better about this whole Funhouse Dungeon thing?
Yeah. It's I mean, it makes sense. It makes sense. That doesn't have to make sense, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
but I like that
it
can make sense.
I think the thing that I was talking about, when I think about the internal, making it make sense to myself so that I'm satisfied with it. I think one of the products that I mentioned it at the top of the show. One of the things that that for me is the quintessential Funhouse dungeon that on its own I feel makes no sense is Tegel Manor. When you go through Tegel Manor, it doesn't provide you with any context. It says this might be how your characters come to interact with it, but that's all you get. They're not going to provide you with this is what's happening. Here's the overarching meta plot of the freaking dungeon. No, it's there's rooms and they have insane things in them and they're right next to each other. Go deal with it. And it took me forever to figure out how I would run that shit, and I came up with it only recently. And that I would want to run that. I would really make the Funhouse, up the Funhouse quality of it a little bit. I'd want to run it like Scooby-Doo.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So that I hit the Scooby-Doo logic, and I was like, oh yeah, Funhouse dungeons. I can totally do those, and it'll be fun. That having been said, I've never designed one of my own. I mean, except for when I was a kid, because this is how I think a lot of us learned how to design dungeons, was looking at those weird maps, and where every if you look at say module B1, right, in Search of the Unknown, the map of that thing has some really dumb shit on it, those doors that lead to more doors that lead to more doors that lead to more doors, or there's a zigzaggy passageway that it doesn't even make sense the way it zigs and zags. I mean, that's not consistent width, but it's because that's what graph paper did. I think when I was growing up learning how to design dungeons by trial and error, I put a lot of stupid stuff in there because the imperative I felt was to fill every inch of the paper, so I put a lot of stupid stuff in there.
Yeah.
I got to play with.
Go on.
Go ahead.
Oh yeah, I was just going to say how much of those old Funhouse dungeons are player fuckery versus just creativeness though, creativeness.
Tomb of Horrors is
it's
the one there.
It's just
I would go. It's kind of a fun house, but it's kind of also the point is to screw your players over. So
yeah.
And
I don't know, man.
Even though that can be the result.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say
I got to
the
play.
Purpose of a fun. It's to have fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
A little while ago when what's his name? That guy I don't like. Did that thing about how that's not a good dungeon. Oh, it's not a good adventure. That famous guy who's
hater.
yeah.
That was
Like in reaction to that, Ryan Thompson, the guy from Gamers and Grognards, he and the orchestrator of the OSR track at UConn, he invited me and my wife over for to play Tomb of Horrors as like a direct, contradiction to this guy's, bullshit thinking about it. And I had never played it. I read it like ages ago, but I'd never played it. And we survived a really long time because, like to someone who's playing in an old school mode, with old school thought, you can get pretty far in that without getting fucked over. And then we got quiet.
just take
No, I was thinking about
yeah.
that. But yeah, if you are paranoid enough and you approach that dungeon like engineers who must survive it, like you just process the whole thing out. Yeah, I can see that. Like if you just wandered in saying, okay, this is a layer of a creature here. Let's just see what's going on. Yeah, you're gonna die. But if you go in thinking to yourself, here is a 500-year-old lich that's had all the time in the world to put together every nasty trap that it has to, and it doesn't need to eat or sleep or drink or breathe. Yeah, watch your ass and watch every step.
And yet, I don't know that I'd call Tomb of Horrors really a funhouse dungeon because I don't think it's weird enough. I think there has to be you've got to. I mean, it has like a lot of the classic, hallmarks. It's got death traps. You've got like teleportation whatnots here and there. But it's not really. I don't want to say like zany enough, but it's not. It's still a little too on the nose.
It's too real. It makes sense. You have this ancient lich, Sararak, who has created this labyrinth for himself. He's not trying to present challenges for you. He's trying to kill idiots. So he just sets this whole thing up to whack people that would walk in there from different directions, and you do it and you die. There's not like friendly treasure. I mean, I guess there's a bit, but there's the kind of treasure that makes you sacrifice treasure to get it. You know what I mean? It's challenging. I would say there's a few elements of it that are funhouse-ish. Specifically, that elephant that will swap out magic items with you. That's a little ridiculous. I do a parody of that. I wrote a trap book for Fat Dragon. I do a parody of that trap where it's just like the elephant with the four arms, and the one's got a crystal ball, and like the other is like opened up. So if you put a piece of treasure into its hand, it disappears, but it never lets the ball out. So we'll just keep doing that and doing that and doing that until you guys get sick of it. I was so proud of myself.
That's some serious fuckery, man.
Thank you. Just water and portion control. Thank you.
Nice. So Taylor, you said earlier on that Brendan running with Brendan inspired the dungeon, which is kind of Funhouse Dungeon from Dragonlord 1, right?
Or Dungeon Lord, yes.
Dungeon Lord, sorry, Dragon. What?
No worries. That's a sweet title too. If I make another
don't do that. It's
Dungeon Lord and Dragon Lord. I mean,
just have them fight.
I'm not gonna do that. But
no.
Yeah, I wrote this dungeon almost as like filler for my first issue of Dungeon Lord, but it was directly inspired by Brendan's, description of X-Crawl, and I was really excited to try writing something like that. And the dungeon itself, it's such a funhouse dungeon that the map actually spells something out. I released that zine at the Albuquerque Zine Fest in 2014. So the dungeon shape on the grid or the graph paper is ABQ Zine Fest 2014. And
That's
you're
awesome.
actually moved. So I've had players just as I'm drawing the map for them, and it really isn't important, but that's part of the fun. It's just ridiculous. And my favorite part of it is I did spend a lot of time giving it a backstory and a plot. So you might really enjoy the fact that there is sort of some cohesiveness, and there's two different like ancient wizards, but it's one is a duplicate and one is the real wizard, and they're sending you against each other or against themselves. Cool. So you really have to kind of figure out what you're meant to do in this place, and then each room is just another ridiculous trap or monster, thing that just shouldn't be there. And it's a really fun time. I love putting a story behind a dungeon, and to do it with a funhouse dungeon is a unique challenge. But that would make me a good a dungeon judge in X-Crawl, I think, Brendan.
I think so. I think you got it. You got the right heart for it. Let's put it that way.
You there?
I love it.
Is this your referee training program here, Brendan? This is how it starts.
I love funhouse dungeons.
Tomorrow he shall receive a black envelope, which is a key.
I think my favorite part of
thus
funhouse
it
dungeons.
Sorry, Taylor. we had to have that digression. It just had to happen. Are you there?
Are we losing a connection here?
No, I think we just got it back.
It's back. Go on with whatever. I think you were slower than us, and then you caught up, and then you froze. You were saying something though, Taylor. Oh, he's frozen again.
He's frozen. Man, this is not a good night for internet connections.
No.
Taylor?
I'm just gonna say that right now.
Sucks.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what. Now I really want to see a copy of Taylor's zine. That sounds awesome.
I was gonna grab one from over there because I've got both versions of it. We originally released it for Labyrinth Lord, I think, and then he did a DCC version like a little while later.
Sweet.
The DCC version is just a little bit cooler, not just because it's for DCC, but I think the cover is cooler.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But he's been doing his own paintings for the covers, which is pretty neat.
Awesome.
Taylor, are you there? Are you with us? Almost? Okay. He's got a new issue coming out soon, too, so you might be able to catch both of those, together soon.
Well, if he's not going to be a Gen Con, did you say?
No, he's not, unfortunately.
Yeah. That's a shame.
Taylor, I think we keep hearing line noise from your side. Oh, and he's... Yes, good. Hopefully we hear him, and he hears us.
Are we offline now?
No.
Well,
Okay.
yeah. This is the part to cut out, Don. This is the part that should not be on the show.
Yeah, I'm gonna cut this part out.
Yeah, the dumb part.
I got this.
Listen, guys, I've had 6 shots of Jaeger now, and I'm pretty bummed.
I can imagine.
So,
Yeah.
Thank you for this Monday opportunity. So rarely.
I think we just that's what makes sense to us for why we do it on Monday, because Monday usually sucks, right? And let's have a reason to get toasty on a Monday night.
Yeah, it's usually not this fun. That's for darn sure. So.
Yeah. Thanks. That's good.
Listen,
we appreciate that.
I'll tell you what. Do you guys ever do live play?
A little bit, yeah. What we've been doing is I've been hosting. I had been hosting it, and I want to start again on Monday or Sunday afternoons. So that was before summer hit, and now we're spending a lot of time out at Lake Michigan. But in the winter, I was hosting like Sunday afternoon, actual plays of. What did we do? We did. First game we did was Beyond the Wall. Then we did Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Other Strangeness.
Nice.
It was great. They. Oh, hey, yeah. Can I talk about this real quick? I found out that Palladium Games. They're actual. Oh, yeah. It's 2 buildings over from where I work, and I found this out. Yeah, I found this out accidentally just by scrolling in on a Google Maps of where I work, and I'm like, holy, no way! So I had to walk over there.
Headquarters?
Yeah, it's like right there, right in Westland. Yeah,
I knew they were from Michigan. I didn't know.
Yeah, so I know a couple of things about them now that I want to actually just record this, go with a camera and just record so people know what Palladium Games looks like, because it's not what you would expect. They've got a sign. They got a sign in the front door that says something about selling Star Wars toys, and it's not what you would expect from good old Kevin Simbita. Actually, it's probably exactly what you would expect if you've heard any of the tales about how crazy he is. So I don't know.
Oh, but Taylor's back. So
Taylor's back. Hey.
Yes. All right, Taylor.
He can. Yeah.
Hello.
So you were about to say something, and I don't know what it was.
Yeah, I don't know where I got cut off, but I was talking about how much I love Funhouse Dungeons, and one of the reasons why is because it really throws the players off of what their expectations of reality would be. I mean, not only their characters in that campaign world, but the players themselves. I mean, you can have, you know, complete reality bending things, and they're not going to expect that as a player to just all of a sudden, you mentioned like have an elephant in the dungeon, you know.
Yeah.
And it's going to mess with their expectations, and you can get things out of your players that you might not get when role playing in, you know, standard dungeon, wilderness, political, whatever adventure you're running. So I think that's another, you know, hidden upside to the Funhouse dungeon.
Yeah, you can be more. I don't know. You can use it to say more about the world. You can use it as an actual like piece. You know.
Or even like. Yeah, or even about things that have nothing to do with the world, or our world, maybe even, you know?
Oh, sure.
Yeah. I mean, okay, so I'm going to talk about a bad example of a Funhouse dungeon for just a moment, and that is the module of Castle Greyhawk. I'm not sure if you guys remember that one. We waited forever for, you know, Gary to actually release the module of Castle Greyhawk, and what we got was a bunch of bad jokes strung together with Jim Holloway illustrations, which the Jim Holloway illustrations were the best part. I think for me, that's very much missing the point of the Funhouse dungeon, because it's like a comedy railroad, you know, and that's not what a Funhouse dungeon should be. You know, like the strangeness to me might give rise to levity, you know, at the table, but I don't think it should be necessarily written in. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yes.
Do anybody agree with that, or
Yeah, I agree.
a good counter argument?
It's up to the dungeon master to put that in there, not the writer of the adventure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean,
yeah. I'd say that comedy should arise from the gameplay, you know, but that's
Emergent comedy.
Yes. Yeah, go figure. I like emergent stuff in pretty much all of my gaming, but
it works,
I mean,
you know, especially with people who aren't sure what to do.
Yeah. You know, I try to put some room in it. Like, when I design stuff these days, I definitely build jokes in, you know. Sometimes I make them harder to see than others, you know, but I just don't try to beat you over the head with it. I don't want to be like, you know, hey, you ready for this? Waha! You know, hey-o. But just I'll sort of like leave puns in there, or, you know, obvious, you know, ridiculous things. Because I want to have those moments. I want to have those moments when everybody, or create those moments, or let a GM really create those moments where everybody is just berserk at the table and laughing their heads off, you know. But don't fill it in. Just create the space for it. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Set it up. Don't deliver the punchline. Deliver the setup. Yeah. But like that's the Castle Greyhawk. They've got like Spock and Kirk at a tavern in the dungeon. You know, it's.
I'm gonna have to reread that one.
They've got like the Three Stooges in this. And remember, I'm not talking about ruins of Greyhawk ruins. I'm talking about the one from the '80s, the one with the like goofy-looking humanoids chasing somebody across a drawbridge or something like that. That's just not my idea of a good funhouse. I do think that as we've been talking. Sorry, go ahead.
I think with humor in dungeons, I think it's important that the writer gets the joke across to the dungeon master, but then the dungeon master has the ability to, you know, change that joke for his players. It shouldn't be so obviously built into the dungeon where the room itself is a joke. It should be read as a joke, and then, you know, a little bit of adaptability to it.
I think a lot of times a lot of players go like digging for jokes too. I remember Katie and I sat in on one of Job's playtests for The One Who Watches from Below, and the name of the demon in that, like we were mining that name for like some kind of reference to something else. Like he had to have rearranged those words, those letters into being something else, and we could never figure it out. So of course Job, like half the time he tells us there's nothing in there, and the other times like, you haven't figured that out yet, you know. But I'm that kind of player where if I'm playing anything, I'm gonna ferret out that joke if it's in there. So I mean, we've talked a little bit about like the like a cohesive atmosphere is possible in a funhouse dungeon. I think one of the earliest funhouse dungeons I've seen that pulls that off really well is Palace of the Vampire Queen. which I think, if I'm not mistaken, was actually the first adventure that was ever published for D&D. It was published by We Warriors in 1975.
Oh yeah, I've heard of that.
Yeah, it was actually republished a couple of years ago by Pace Setter Simulations, by Bill Barsh's company, and you can find copies of that. And it actually has the entirety of the original text in it, and then it has like an expanded version for like later editions, which really just means up to first edition AD&D. But it's very much that, you know, like, it's a bunch of crazy shit in there. Because it's all just one big dungeon, and who the fuck knows? Let's just put all this random shit in there, in addition to stuff that makes sense. So alongside like thematically appropriate stuff, there's like thematically inappropriate things, which I feel like really, you know, that's where kind of the funhousiness comes from. And there's some, you know, your weird tricks and traps and your teleporters and, you know, goofball traps and a werewolf sitting in a room all by himself. Who knows? For the fact that A, that was the first published adventure, and B, it's a funhouse dungeon, and C, it's one that has a cohesive, you know, ongoing theme. For me, I think that's one of my favorites right now.
Sounds quintessential, really, to the funhouse experience.
It's really
heard of that.
Really?
It's one to track down. Yeah, I've heard of it recently, but I didn't know anything about it until I saw it mentioned. So,
well,
it's one to track down.
Brendan, it is one to track down. He released it. They did a short printing of it for like North Texas a couple of years ago. Again, it's Bill Barsh. I think he typically goes to all the big OSR conventions. I don't know if he was at GaryCon this year, but I know he'll be at UConn. So you could probably pick up a copy there.
I think they're usually at Gen Con for sure.
Is he?
Right?
Oh yeah, he
so.
was.
There's like
Here's the guy who.
Yeah.
Bill introduced me to Frank Menser because I went to. He was doing the OSR booth back in a few years ago. Like the here's a bunch of OSR stuff. You know, someone other than Taco John take care of it. And talking to Bill, he's like, "Hey, have you met Frank?" And it's just childhood idol right there. He's like, "Boom! Oh, holy crap!" So, man, I'm tired, guys. I'm not making a lot of sense.
Shit.
Oh, you did that on that.
Man, the sizer, it's so bubbly. So,
Gracious.
yeah, right. There's such a fine line in my head here between like the shit that I hate and the shit that I accept.
Mm-hmm.
Like you were talking about, oh yes, of course there should be rooms that, you know, do funny things to you because it's magic, you know. Magic goes wrong, magic goes right, magic does crazy shit, magic breaks the rules. But then, like, you know, somebody's sitting in a room just waiting for you. Or like when you break, what is it, the third or the fourth wall?
It depends on what medium we're talking about, Don.
Exactly.
If
Like,
it's television, it's the fourth wall. If it's
right.
like written word, I think it's the third wall, right? Because you only got two dimensions in the written word.
Yeah, I don't like that shit.
I'm gonna. It's good. To me, it gets back to it. Sorry, Taylor, go ahead.
Oh, just paraphrasing is like meta stuff and writing and games.
Yeah.
I think you're right. I mean, there's a fine line there to be drawn between like interestingly goofy and just wacky stupid.
Right. Yeah.
And to say like to use that I always thought that the excuse of a wizard did it was kind of bullshit, you know.
Yeah, to a certain extent, sure.
Because why the fuck did the wizard do that? You have a wizard who's capable of all sorts of feats of, you know, destruction of or the fabric of reality, just wrecking it. And that's the dumb thing he chose to do. You know, I think without like. To me, again, this is me going back to like a cohesive aesthetic to whatever it is. Without that, I feel like it's kind of dumb. A little while ago, back when I was blogging much more regularly than I am now, I was working on a conversion, not so much a conversion as a rewrite of a Module B5 Horror on the Hill, and because that is kind of, I mean, it's kind of a funhouse dungeon, especially that second level when the whole point of it is finding the way out of the second level. and it uses a lot of the like the tropes of the Funhouse dungeon. You get lost. You come to a room that you've come to at least once before. That kind of logic, and you've got to wonder why. I feel like if you're designing it with a mind to why did this stuff end up there in the first place, you can have a little bit more of an interesting answer than just like I just drew it and that's what it is. Now with Brendan's X-Crawl, the point is to fuck with people, right? I mean, like if you felt like you got lost and now you're in the same place again, that makes sense because that fits the overarching aesthetic. I think a lot of times. We do it's not dumb stuff, but we do stuff like that, we see stuff like that in Dungeon, and I don't know that it's been as well thought out or given like context to make it make sense. Is that kind of where you're going, Don?
Maybe, okay, this is...
Tell me a thing that you think is...
This is not related at all, but I just thought of it. Like, for me, you walk into a dungeon room and there's like a modern-day tank in there. That's stupid. What if it's a super rusty modern-day tank, like ancient, like it's been there for 500 years? I'm like, oh, interesting. Why is that different? Tell me about myself, Adam.
I think I got it.
I'm not your dungeon psychologist.
Tell me.
I think it comes down, like it's how you would approach that when you came across it. If you came across a 500-year-old tank, that is something that is speaking about the world. Like, it's like, how did it get there? Why is this old tank there? Are we now post-apocalyptic? Did World War II happen in the past of this world that we created? But if it's a live, real tank in there, all you can do is think, how the hell do we take control of this thing and bring it to the next dungeon where we can fuck some stuff up? Pardon my French. And that changes.
Nice.
That changes everything. That if it goes from being like an ancient artifact you can puzzle over, that's one thing. But if it's like just Power Gamer's Delight, that's a huge difference.
All right.
The way you look at that as a thing, it's like the difference between finding an old musket in your game and a real musket that you can cack somebody with.
Right.
That's different. Oh, by the way, can I curse on your podcast?
Yeah.
I just went for it. Oh,
fuck no. Well, I mean, it's also going to depend on, like, I think what Brendan's saying is about if it's true. It's also going to depend on what you're, I think, to a degree, what you're interested in. I want to say there was an early issue. There was an article in an early issue of Dragon where, like, Gary Gygax talks about like mixing tanks in with D&D. I probably massacring this.
I remember that issue actually. Yeah.
Yeah,
I know what
it was
you're
like something to do with Panzerfaust or something. I don't know.
Like World War
II
like, and mixed into dungeons and.
Yeah, and I think that
do you remember the old Keep, the Adventure of the Keep? They made.
What was that? I'm sorry.
There was a horror movie called The Keep that was like Nazis versus...
based on the movie. Yeah.
Yeah. So I remember we went through that when I was like 12, and I remember the whole point of it being how many hand grenades can we take and bring back to our next adventure. I swear.
Of course.
Yeah. I don't know. I honestly I'm kind of at a loss here because I mean. Yeah, there's the power gameriness of it, and I would be less interested in introducing things that increase the power gameriness of any game, unless there's a real, not a realistic, but a plausible way to limit it on your way out of the funhouse. But I think that you're probably right, Brendan, that that's why we tend to think of those things as a little bit more of a cheeseball move these days than something that might actually be interesting. I don't know.
Yeah,
I think so.
I don't know. Maybe it's asking two questions instead of one, like why is there a tank here and why is it old, instead of why is there a tank here. I don't know. I'm gonna go with your answer, Brendan.
I'd say that a lot of our discomfort in doing stuff like that comes from Brandon's answer. That's why it feels wrong to do that as a DM, because then you're right. I mean, they can try to, you're going to get players trying to work it. You know.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Uh.
yeah. And you don't want to, obviously players are going to work whatever you put there. So if you give them something really obvious like that, I remember at one point just we had a casual throwaway thing where we fought this. We were kids. I'm talking about this is like 1979. We're like little kids playing a sea adventure, and like to compensate for the fact that the GM was doing his math wrong, he said that the other boat had +2 cannons on it. We were shooting these cannons that had a bonus to hit our ship. I swear to God. So we took those cannons. We brought one to a dungeon. That was the end of the campaign and a couple of friendships. It's you can't give players that. Of course they're going to. I had them like 20 years. I hope those kids are good.
I got it, but there could be a place for that stuff in a funhouse dungeon. I think as long as it fulfills its purpose, it's fun and it doesn't leave. Making it not leave is the hard part.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if the dungeon is magic, magic can unwind when you leave.
Yeah.
That's the cop out, right?
Back to the
wizard
yeah.
can unmake it.
Well, why the fuck did the wizard make it in the first place? Then again, I'm not a fucking wizard. I don't know why wizards make shit. I will admit to throwing a little bit of funhousery into some dungeons just as a matter of course. I've talked about it a couple times on the show before, and I don't know who really brought this idea back to the OSR, but the concept of the dungeon as mythic underworld is something that I use a lot. So I like to do the hallway just stretches on forever and ever, and now my players know what to do if the hallway stretches on forever and ever. They light up the wizard bong, and then that'll take them somewhere else. That's been a real trope in my games where you're like, oh yeah, this hallway is going to go on forever, so our characters just need to get high to access whatever plane of existence we need to get to. Don's seen some funhousey stuff from me that he didn't like very much, but
right. Yes, it's true.
Sorry,
it's true.
And
it was too funhousey.
I think it's because it can be a little jarring because sometimes the players aren't aware of that context, and to me it's like it's in my head and it makes sense. So that's why I was like, okay, well, the hallway goes on forever. You got to spark the wizard bong to get anywhere. Otherwise, so that way there's I think I provide a little bit of context for the weirdness for my players these days. Whereas when I gave full throttle weirdness to Don, he didn't know what to do with it.
Oh, it just
slow
it was
down.
jarring.
Now this wizard bong. Now,
yeah.
Specifically, had that been something they've been carrying around them for a while?
Oh yeah. That's their one of the ways they do a lot of carousing. Like the GP for XP, just blowing it on fun things to put in the wizard bong.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah. This is Axe, so there's a lot of carousing rules and stuff like that. It follows that kind of getting rid of money gets you more XP. So we decided to allow them to become a little more experienced. You know what I'm saying? So.
Sure.
Yeah.
I've encountered the never-ending hallway without the bong in 2.
I'm just telling you, that's a great solution to the never-ending hallway.
Yeah. Yeah. Instead of did somebody try to ride a bike down one of your never-ending hallways, or is that a dream?
That's not that I'm aware of. I've never seen that.
Okay, Funhouse. Let's focus, Don.
Yeah.
World of the Lost by Chandler. I mean, that's kind of funhousey hex crawl, right?
I suppose. Yeah.
what about
Dungeon of the Unknown?
Oh yeah.
That's a good one by McKinney. Yeah.
Yeah. All those little slimes and yeah.
The slimes are my favorite part of that whole thing. The random slimes.
Yeah.
What are some other good modern ones that we've been we're excited about?
Modern ones.
Chandler's World of the Lost.
Okay. Yeah. Other than the one you just mentioned, Don. Come on.
I love that one.
That is a good one. One that's like I think almost like a funhouse, but like an evil funhouse. There's two by Radji that I think makes sense, and one is Tower of the Stargazer. Um,
Oh, yeah.
that's kind of. I mean, I guess
Yeah.
I guess people die in that module, which I don't understand. Like, you just like last time I played it, like everybody just was smart, and we did not die, except for the one guy who walked into the Piranha Sphere, and he did
Slow
that on
down,
purpose.
Piranhasphere?
Yeah. Oh, you haven't read Tower of the Stargazer?
Nope.
Oh, Brandon, it's beautiful. Check it out. A lot of people accuse it of being like. So I think as well, there's a fine line to be drawn between Funhouse and Nega Dungeon, and I think people like that whole Nega Dungeon epithet was invented to shit talk Radji a bit, right?
What's a mega dungeon? Sorry, you want me?
Yeah, it's a dungeon where you're worse off when you come out than when you went in. Like you can't avoid getting fucked over by going in.
Oh, okay.
And I don't think that that's true of his stuff. Like I said, I played Tower of the Stargazer at a convention, and we only had one. Well, I guess we could have had one death right at the beginning, but the DM was like, eh. So it was Ryan Thompson. It's like, yeah, we'll give you a mulligan on that one because it's literally the first roll of the game.
That was pretty generous. I did not do that.
Yeah. It's the door, with the and the
Spoilers.
yeah. So the it's door. Yeah, it's a door. There's going to be trouble. It has a handle.
Yeah.
But the Piranha Sphere was like a conscious decision to die on this guy's part. It's like, yeah, I'm just going to do it. See what happens. You're eaten. But also one that I think is like almost a funhouse dungeon in that it's more like a roller coaster than a funhouse, and that is the God That Crawls.
Yeah.
Because like there's that weird like crisscrossing path up and down and around, and that map is super convoluted and weird.
Yeah.
And it seems to me like less like it's kind of a funhouse, but more like a roller coaster because you're running most of the time. And when you're not running, then it's funhouse, and then run again.
Scooby Doo, that one for sure.
Scooby Doo.
Yeah, it's like
Zoinks. Yeah.
Zoinks.
Probably also throw out the Maximum Mayhem dungeons by Freak Show Games. They did their Osric modules.
I haven't read
Hanging
those.
Coffins of the Vampire Queen and Secret Machines of the Starspawn. Those are, if not straight up funhouse dungeons, they definitely have the thematic elements.
Yeah, they definitely
involved.
sound like a lot of fun. I should check those out.
Yeah, all kinds of gonzo laser beams and weird things all over.
The title.
Even and also spelling things with the map. That map spells out vampire pits as part of that blue line map. So
Nice.
I don't know which came out first, mine or his. I'm sure that's got to be an old school convention, spelling things with your map. I'd like to know what the first one.
I've seen some things like drawing things with the map. What do you call it? Making the actual map from above look like a skull is a real common one. I'd seen that when I was a kid, though. I just thought of one, and I actually had to pull it up and look at what it's called. Do you remember Wicked Fantasy Factory?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Wicked Fantasy Factory lines, I think, very much fit in that funhouse dungeon thing. Throw down with the arm ripper. You're at the end, you're fighting in this giant room full of gears that just have no reason to be there except to crunch up players and bad guys that get thrown into it.
That was that line. I'm actually really surprised Joe hasn't hired anybody to convert those to DCC because they have a really strong like proto DCC feel to me. It's 4th edition, but man, you could make that DCC like that. It's
Luke Johnson.
Yeah.
Those are actually written in 3rd edition.
Yeah, or were they? I thought it was 4th. Yeah, you're right. It is 3rd edition. Yeah, because they introduced all like the death moves and the, I don't know.
Yeah.
That was cool. Finishing moves, stuff like that.
Fat Luke.
Yeah.
I was always a huge fan of that line, and I'd love to see something done with it. Luke and I one time talked about doing an X-Crawl Wicked Fantasy crossover, and it never made it out of the Steak and Shake.
That would be fun. Yeah. Hmm. How are we doing? Any more? I'm feeling pretty good about this. Did the
Yeah.
Okay, so Vic Garrison, he asked, he mentions that no one has figured out what the Marshmallowy Tomb dungeon says, and that was from Skullfuck Zine, Vic's Skullfuck Zine, and are you guys, Ernie Gygax did that Marmorial Tomb something or other, so Vic did a parody of it called the Marshmallow Tomb of something or other in Skullfuck, and I didn't know that it said anything, Vic. I'm gonna tell you, I didn't know. I'm gonna have to pull that thing out. It's
Yeah,
around
I
here
gotta
somewhere.
go grab my skull fuck right now.
I know, right? I gotta go get Skullfuck real quick. Pardon me, guys. I'm amazed because like I look around and I can't see Skullfuck or Dungeon Lord anywhere, which means that they're underneath stuff, which is probably the state of my life right now. Like everything is in a place it shouldn't be. But they're here, and I wanted to show Brendan Dungeon Lord earlier, and I'm sure it's in the exact same place that Skullfuck is. I'm sure they're right next to each other. They must be. They're not obvious. Well, Don, how you feeling, man?
I'm feeling like I'm pretty good.
Yeah.
And I think we've this was actually a really good talk.
It really was. Yeah.
I was scared. I was scared that it was just going to be about clowns. Not that I'm scared of clowns. I just don't think clowns are awesome.
While we're talking about clowns,
You guys
Dan
get
Domi
Dave
brings
Beatty
up.
on.
Yeah, I'd love to have Dave on. He's awesome. He's
Yeah,
such a cool guy.
he's a great guy. Get him on. Talk about clowns.
Yeah, I mean, Dave Beatty did Carnival of the Damned.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I should check that out. I've been put off by the clowns. Yeah, but I'm sure it's more than just clowns, right?
Yes, it is more than just clowns. There's other things to creep you out.
No, clowns don't creep me out. They're just
Fiji mermaid, that sort of thing.
Oh yeah. See, I like some Fiji mermaid.
Mm-hmm.
That was
but
like.
Dan Domi actually asks about Carnival of the Damned and some of the other like DCC tournament funimals. I'm doing good tonight. All right.
I want a funimal.
And
Funimals
he mentions
the line of DCC underwear they do. Funimals are fun to wear, yeah. In dungeon wear. Awesome.
Dungeon wear.
Increase your mighty deep dive up to one step. It's great.
What does Dan say?
So he says, what about the DCC tournament funnels? As, I did that on purpose that time. Right. As a mega dungeon or funhouse dungeon. Actually, they tend to be funhouse dungeons. And he mentions the Hypercube of Might, whatever it's called. I wrote stuff for it. And I still don't know what it's called. And Carnival of the Damned. Those, I know. I mean.
Uh-oh. That's an unfortunate freeze.
Oh, did he freeze?
Yeah.
Oh, shit. So.
Yeah, so Noah Stevens asks a question. What genres are off the tables for you cats when you run games? Clowns. Clowns, that's a genre, right?
Yeah. I have tried to run hard SF multiple times. I always get frustrated doing it because I always wind up sitting down with someone who understands physics better than me.
Right. Yeah.
That can be very frustrating. But I appreciate it. I want to play it more. But like running hard SF, like I've run Traveler in the past, and I recently had a chance to play Eclipse Phase, and I was really into that, and I wanted to try that out. But it's just, I have a homebrew space game that I was working on, I don't know, probably 15 years ago now, that I really loved. But I couldn't, it was too frustrating to run.
Yeah. Adam, to catch you up, we're answering Noah Stevens' question.
Why do you encourage that guy? I'm just kidding. I don't. You're gonna have an answer to Dan's stuff. kind of like a meandering answer that halfway through I realized I wasn't talking to you guys. So when you do the editing, just
I'll leave
ignore
it
me.
there. No,
Yeah.
I'll leave it
Yeah,
there.
yeah. Cut everybody else out and just play my meanders.
Yeah.
What I want to know, I'm gonna have to listen to the episode to get the answer to Noah's question, aren't I?
What?
Shit. Damn. No,
You
he turns in and talks about stuff. Finally tunes in and talks about stuff that's not even the topic. But I want to talk about. I want to answer the questions. What genres are off the tables for me? I don't think I have any genres I won't do. I don't like Weird West. We've talked about that. I feel weird about it. Yeah.
I don't know why.
I want Wild West. I don't want Weird West. What the fuck is wrong with the Wild West?
It's boring. It doesn't have vampires
No, it's
and
not.
werewolves
It's
and
fucking
shit.
awesome.
It's just gold and guns and hookers and saloons.
What the hell else do you need in life?
That's just cake. The frosting is vampires and wizards and fucking...
I don't like the frosting. I'm going to tell you. I'm a pie man. I'll take the pie every time.
Well, then you're just going to get the crust without that
the
sweet
crust is the
vampire
best
filling.
part. What kind of pies do you eat? They're terrible sounding.
I eat all kinds of pies.
Yeah.
If you know what I'm saying.
I think I do.
No.
You like peanut butter pie, obviously. We've already talked about it. We've established this already. I think that's the only thing I don't want to run is the Weird West stuff. It's too weird, I think, for me. I want the West. Not so.
Yeah.
I want it to be. I know, right? This is me saying that's too weird for me.
Yeah.
I wish I was good at running spy stuff. I've never done a good job trying to spy.
I lucked out this last year at UConn. I like to run a session in a game that nobody plays anymore. So last year I ran 007.
Oh wow.
Victory Games 007,
Cool.
and I set it like in the Cold War. We just like managed to just completely shift gears. This is our third rail portion of the show. Like normally we're asked.
Oh yeah.
That's what we're. That's how we'll write the toss.
Thanks, Noah, for the third rail question of the show.
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't play in like any World War II like monotonous, boring thing. Here's my gun. I'm gonna go shoot some Germans.
Oh, Recon by Palladium. You remember that one? It was Vietnam role-playing game. It's like, why is this a role-playing game?
Yeah.
Like this is. Yep.
Wow.
Bad ideas, man. I should talk to them about that when I go visit their headquarters.
You know what would make that cooler? Jungle vampires and werewolves.
Now that would benefit from the weird yes,
Vietnam.
That's a game I would play. Yeah.
All right.
Because it's not Vietnam. Already interesting. The Wild West is already interesting.
I don't know.
It's like,
a little too interesting. Vietnam stuff.
The one that I always wanted to see was like a Call of Cthulhu World War I mashup.
Oh
That's
yeah,
what I wanted to see.
I'm working on that.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense to me.
I want to run that campaign.
I think World War One's. Yeah, World War II's like that makes sense because Nazis were into like some of the Nazis were into occult shit. Like World War II to me, with the exception of like the concentration camps, is not as scary as World War One. You know, like the whole trench warfare, just hell of that. I have a hard time wrapping my brain around it. You know.
I got a matchup for you. You ready for this? World War One trench warfare and Tremors.
I like it.
That's the
nice.
Bam.
That's good. That's good.
What killed all the Russians? That'd be the name of the game.
You know, there was a movie called Death Watch where this British it was an Andy Serkis
Love
film.
that movie.
Yeah, me too. It was so good. First off,
World War I horror. It's
World War One horror, crazy shit happening in trenches. The Germans are what happened to the Germans? They're all crazy or dead. And then you've got weird time warping things going on. It's like all of my buttons right there. Boop boop boop. That's the sound they make.
I'll watch that.
Yeah. It was on Netflix last time I looked, but I haven't looked in a while. All right, I think we've, to paraphrase the Car Talk guys, I think we've managed to destroy another perfectly good hour with our particular brand of idiocy. I want to thank our fantastic guests, Mr. Brendan LaSalle. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me. I had a great time.
Yeah, good. We'll have you back sometime. Taylor Frank, sir, I'm so glad to finally
Yes.
talk to you.
We'll talk
Yeah.
again.
I'm certain we will.
It's been a
Good
pleasure.
time. Yeah, you're also welcome back anytime.
All right.
Don Stroud, my lovely co-host.
Please, can I come back?
I
want to come back next time.
I wasn't gonna tell you can come back.
Okay.
You do all the hard work. I'm the idiot. That's my job. I'm the.
I was the idiot.
Were you? Just because you thought they would have Funhouse Dungeons had to do with
has
clowns.
2 idiots. The stagecoach. Yeah, it's a stagecoach.
We need to get a producer. That's what we should get. We should get a producer to do this stuff. Yeah.
To do all the work, and we'll just get drunk and talk.
This is a lot of work. Getting drunk and talking is a lot of work. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. Hey, Don, should we tell people just a little bit about what's going on, what our plan is for the next couple of episodes?
Yeah, I was going to suggest that, and then I forgot.
Okay, so you gorgeous listeners, we want to let you know that we have not forgotten about you. Yes, we know we had an unfortunately long pause due to some technical difficulties, but we've resolved to not let those get in our way. In this second season, this was the first of 4 episodes that we're recording to round out our second season. The next episode we will be recording on a date that is not today. When is that? August 1st, when we'll be joined by Harley Stroh and some other fantastic, as yet unannounced guests on the eve of Gen Con. Then we'll also be recording on the 15th of August, where we'll be joined by Stacy Dellerfano. And we've got one more episode after that coming up on the 29th of August, and then we're going to take a couple months off while some things change with us, and then we'll be back in November in prep for UConn, recording and then releasing some new episodes there. And Brendan, we're gonna make you embarrass yourself at UConn somehow. I promise.
Outstanding.
Yes, very good. As long as you agree to it. All right, beautiful. And you gorgeous listeners, stay tuned. We're not going anywhere. We're sorry we left for a little while. We'll be back, or we are back, and we're committed to making sure that you guys have a good time with us.
Yeah.
Thank you all very much, and we'll see you next time.
All right. Yeah.
So go ahead and stop your recording.
Right.
I'm going to take us off. I'm going to take us off air.